online. We're getting ready to get started. Just give us a few more minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
We are unmuted.
Good afternoon, everyone. We'll call our meeting to order. Welcome, everyone, to the March 5th meeting of the Children's Services Council. Allow me first to thank our good friend and colleague, Mr. Rob Renzi, and the great people here at CarePoint for their hosting of our meeting today. You'll notice that we're in a different location for this month's meeting as we continue our renovations at our CSC Leon County office. Opportunities for public comment are noted on the agenda and will be offered prior to any council vote. So please complete a comment card and provide it to Ms. Holly McPhail. Council members, remember to turn your placards upright to be acknowledged to speak. And now let me take an opportunity to congratulate our reappointed council members. Mr. Mitchell, our treasurer, Mr. Mark O'Brien, Tallahassee Memorial Health Care, and welcome our newly appointed member, Ms. Allie Richards. Thank you so much for your willingness to serve and your continuing your service. And would either of you like to make a brief comment?
No, thank you.
Ms. Richards?
I will. I've probably known her the longest. So, Allie and I go way back. She was a student of mine at Godby. You know, she's the daughter of former Leon County Commissioner Jimbo Jackson, which was a dear friend of mine as well. And her and her sister were both students of mine and student athletes, and I'm excited to have her on this council. And she's going to do an outstanding job. She has, former teacher. Commissioner Caban stole her away from me. Still not quite over that yet, but and she has children in our school district, so we're excited to have her on board and give a different perspective from as you can tell, she's a wee bit younger than most of the rest of us on this council, so except for Mr. White, of course, but again, Allie, just so proud of you, and I'm sure your dad's very proud of you as well.
Yes, I just want to thank everyone. It's an absolute honor to be sitting at the table with some of our great community leaders. I've worked with Commissioner Cummings at the commission, and she's a fierce leader, and if I can be half of the advocate she is for our children and families, then I'll be doing something right. Superintendent Jones has been a good friend. He's always a warm welcome to me, and he's been a great friend to my father, and he's been such a good advocate for his schools and the entire Leon County community, and I'm looking forward to getting to know everyone else on the board. So I just want to say thank you to the governor and the governor's office for the opportunity, and I'm really excited for this.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. We're very happy to have you. As you know, we have been sojourners in a shared footprint that includes the commission district. And furthermore, I'm really excited about the perspective that you will bring, particularly as we endeavor to serve the needs of vulnerable children, which has been your vocation, or continues to be your vocation, both as a former teacher and now as a government and public servant. So thank you so very much for availing yourself, and congratulations. All right, yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cummings.
Commissioner Cummings, we're gonna welcome you in once we have our motion for your participation, which will come just shortly after the roll call vote. All right?
That's
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And now we'll have the roll call vote, Ms. Mateo.
Councilmember Richards? Councilmember O'Brien? Councilmember Marsteller? Here. Councilmember Johnson?
Here.
Judge Hobbs? Superintendent Hannah?
Here.
Commissioner Cummings?
Here.
Treasurer Mitchell?
Here.
Vice Chair Watts?
Here.
Chair Jones?
Yes.
You have a quorum.
All right.
Mr. Chair, recognizing that we have a quorum and we have a rule that allows, as long as we've established a quorum, to allow council members to participate virtually, I'd like to make a motion that we allow Commissioner Cummings to participate in the meeting via, what are we on, Teams? Whatever we're on. Zoom.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it. Would you like to make any comments, Commissioner Cummings?
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Chair and members of the council, I just wanted to congratulate Councilmember O'Brien and Councilmember Mitchell for their reappointment to the council. They've certainly been very important members of the council. They've contributed, and I just commend the governor for their reappointment. But I also wanted to welcome Ms. Richards, Allie Richards, as a member. And I know personally that she's very passionate, a passionate advocate for our children, and she will just be a great asset to the council. And like you, Mr. Chair, I think she's younger than we are, but she'll bring a different, I'm looking forward to the different perspective that she will bring to this council. So just welcome and congratulations to all of them. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, madam. Any additional comments from board members as we move to now seek approval of the agenda?
Mr. Chair, I'll move the agenda.
Second. All right, it's been properly moved and seconded that we would approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Now, we'll now move to general public comment. Do we have any public comment, Ms. McPhail?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have one general public comment from Ms. Lorraine Oxley. If you'll approach the podium and state your name for the record, and address, although it's sure they'll know you.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm here today to talk to all of you about what is now known as the CSC project. And I know you originally had it in your pre-information, and there's some change, but I wanted to at least have a conversation about it really quickly. First of all, I want to thank all of you for your thoughts and prayers over the past 3 to 4 months. Most of you know that I was in a very serious bike accident in Panama City on November 2nd, and hospitals and comas and all types of things later, and a wonderful husband who's my continued driver. I'm walking without pain, and, I'm feeling good, and I'm still going to DMA, really blessed and lucky to be where I am. It's also reminded me to go back to focusing on the things that really matter, like our children. Most of you know I have long been an advocate for investment in our youngest children, and I'm really excited about this opportunity at this point in my life to get back involved in that. So I have been working for 15 years on a project called Pay for Success. I watched Pay for Success projects around the country, most recently in Spartanburg, as the Hello Family model has been a great universal success, reducing emergency room visits and increasing school readiness for all children in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Thanks to CSC for helping us put this concept together for a potential Treasury grant. Thanks to Rocky and to Daryl and Leon County Schools for your commitment to this, to our youngest children. You all know that early investments are key to children's success and ultimately our school district success. So the bottom line in all of this CIPRA grant is that we have if we receive the Treasury grant, so we have an upfront investor that will be repaid by Treasury Department dollars if the investments reduce the cost of hospital visits. They invest in Pay for Success because they believe in these investments, and it's had success across the country. I was going to originally talk to you about being a guarantor in this project, and it's complicated. But it's not an option at this point. But I want to tell all of you about what we're doing, and potentially help us find guarantors or explore other ways that CSC can be involved in early childhood, since that is your mission. What we're talking about in this potential or this real CIPRA grant with the Department of Treasury is home visiting and books, making it as easy as I possibly can. We all know that home visiting and books and literacy make a big difference in early childhood and childhood readiness and kindergarten readiness. The CIPRA grant from the Treasury Department will allow us to scale out efforts in home visiting and literacy for every single child and family in Leon County. Bottom line, we have an upfront investor that's going to build on Healthy Start's current work within both area hospitals to expand this work and to offer these services to every single family in Leon County. And so talk for a minute about home visiting. We all know that initial hospital visits followed by home visits soon after birth have many benefits. I have a funny story. 20 years ago, we were putting together Whole Child Leon. Susie Bush-Trantu, who you all know, very important member of our community, she raised all three of her children in St. Louis. And all three of her children had access to home visiting with no questions at all. Every child in St. Louis has a home visitor. It's not asked, people do it, and it's been a great story of success. And Susie didn't understand that we didn't have that in Leon County. And I often think about that conversation with Susie, and I talked to her recently to make sure she was okay with me reminding people about this. But home visiting is one of those benefits that we know helps our children, helps our families, and it helps kids get ready for kindergarten and on and on and on. By meeting families where they are, home visiting programs have demonstrated short and long-term impacts on health, safety, and school readiness of children, maternal health, family stability, and financial security, etc. We currently have visitors for new moms in the hospitals through Healthy Start, which is followed up by home visitors. We want to work with Family Connect, a national program, building on the Healthy Start program that we have to provide another option so that all new moms have access to this important service. Books, again, another easy to mention, but the current Little Believers initiative provides brain bags I know you know that. Reach Out and Read is a national program that encourages families to read out loud together, incorporates books into pediatrics programs. I was actually on the statewide board of Reach Out and Read many years ago, and I'm really excited about their continued focus on literacy, pediatric training, and the service return motion that we all know about. That we know that as parents are talking to their children, even if they can't read or they can't speak English, talking and listening to children is so important in school readiness and all the things that we talk about.
Senator?
So Reach Out and Read is doing this and getting larger in Florida and currently available at a few locations here in Leon County. But I would love to be growing that Reach Out and Read concept across our community,
Senator?
building on the work that you're doing so well in the hospital.
Senator?
Yes.
We need you to.
Okay. Bottom line is, I want to have all of us working together, Children's Services Council, the school district, everyone, Healthy Start, to expand these important services to every family in Leon County. We had talked about you being a guarantor. That is not an option. There are options that we can talk about, not right now, but I think it's really important to talk about potentially supporting these projects, helping us find guarantors, or making sure that we can take advantage of the $4 million the Department of Treasury has offered to Leon County, but we have to be people. So that is it.
Thank you.
I appreciate you all.
Of course, and Senator Osley, as the council knows, under ordinary circumstances, public comment is reserved for 3 minutes.
Okay.
However, because it is you, a person who's quite frankly for more than 2 decades been the face of being an ardent champion for children, certainly we defer, particularly as you describe a fantastic brand new model we would bring back to our community. As you have been made aware, our conflict in terms of what we are statutorily permitted to fund at present makes it impossible for us to have dealt with the item, although it was previously on our agenda. But again, Senator, I know I can speak for all of us sitting around this table, how very, very happy we are to see you here, to see you doing what you have loved for decades and doing what you have done for our children, many of whose faces you may never know and names you'll never know as well. But because of your great love, I think, matter of fact, because of what you were able to do with Whole Child Leon, helped to educate an entire community, which made the whole notion that we would fund the Children's Services Council that was overwhelmingly voted for by our community was because of advocacy like yours. So we want to thank you. Before you leave, I'd like to defer to Mr. Rowe to add as a part of the public record what is our conflict in terms of funding this, but we will be open to any additional conversations with our director following this meeting. Mr. Rowe?
Thank you, Chair.
And then we'll hear from councilmen.
Very good. The prohibition is not against collaborating with an entity that provides and advances children's causes in the community. The prohibition, in my estimation, is in acting as a guarantor for a financial obligation of another party. As a special district and unit of local government, CSC Leon is a creature of statute, meaning that it only has those powers that are bestowed by the state legislature in statute. Anytime the governing council wants to consider taking an action, it has to go and find statutory authority to do that. When I looked in the governing statute for CSC Leon, which is section 125.901, it pretty clearly lays out the powers that are available to you, and I have them here. Needing a reminder, I did not see an express power to act as a financial guarantor, and in fact, I was reminded of the provision in the statute which says that CSC Leon is prohibited from essentially borrowing money or undertaking a multi-year financial obligation. It has to pay cash and pay for its services and purchases it makes through reserves it has on hand. That is the reason why when CSC Leon entered into a lease for its facilities, or it enters into contracts with service providers that extend over more than one fiscal year, those contracts are always structured to have a non-appropriation clause, meaning the governing council maintains from one year to the next the complete discretion to determined not to fund the contract in the next year. That would essentially defeat the purpose of a guarantee agreement by which this council would agree to step in and pay the financial obligation of another authority. What I concluded is if this board does not have the lawful power to undertake a financial obligation, a debt over a several-year period on its own behalf, then it would not have that power to undertake such a debt on behalf of another entity.
Thank you. We'll now hear public comments from our commissioners.
Thank you.
Commissioner Mitchell.
Mr. Chair, thank you very much.
Councilmember Mitchell, I'm sorry.
Senator Osley, two things. One, thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for our community. And thank you for bringing the grant to us. For those of you who are newer members to the council, Senator Osley brought forward an opportunity for the CSC to participate in funding a grant. We put up $5,000, and I don't know about you, but if somebody came to me and said, would you like to invest $5,000 and I'll return $4 million, I'd sign up for that any old day. So thank you for bringing that to us, and I am so proud of you guys for winning. And again, we can take pride as a council for contributing $5,000 towards the writing of the grant. The second thing is to the senator's comment about collaborating, and in I think Mr. Rowe's interpretation of the statute is correct, 100%. But the word collaborating, and I'm speaking as one member of this council, I believe in what this program is about. I believe in the importance of getting to families and those family visits early, not just in the hospital, and I believe it will yield really solid results. So I don't know what that collaboration is going to look like. I will commit to helping you find guarantors who can do it legally. But I just want to make sure that you understand that 1 out of 10, and I'm sure there's others, but this one vote out of 10 is looking forward to whatever that collaboration is going to be. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Superintendent Hannah.
So I'd just like to echo what Member Mitchell said first. We're glad you're here too. I think all of us in this community are glad you're here. And Lorraine and I go way back as well, Leon classmates from 19. Daryl and David, way before Daryl. And this has been her life's work, her life's passion. So glad to have her back in the game, back with a purpose. She knows from her own personal experience in dealing with Will. I mean, this is her baby, and we were excited. Our school district was excited to join as the potential fiscal agent for the grant. We originally we applied for $10 million. We're awarded $4 million, but now need people to step up to guarantee the results. And I completely understand our position legally, Mr. Rowe. It just doesn't seem like the Children's Services Council could be could guarantee, the deliverables of this grant. But I'm just hoping and praying that we can find others that can step in and fill that gap. It would be a shame if we lost this opportunity to really expand what Chris and her team are doing, Healthy Start, and doing those early interventions and the home visits, and making sure that right out of the womb that our kids are on it and our parents are on it. So this is, vitally important to me. I'm a big believer in this project, because I think this is most critical for everything that happens later in a child's life. We have to get in front. We have to start at the beginning. So just thank you, and no pressure in going out and finding people. You know some people who know some people, and we all do, but if we just need to find either one individual or one group, organization that will step up to guarantee this $4 million initiative, or 4, or however many it takes, but just don't want to lose this opportunity. So thank you for stepping up, Lorraine.
And again, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. Again, we are very, very happy to have you with us. And I hope that based upon the comments, particularly of Councilmember Mitchell and others who I'm sure will, if enlisted, will be happy to assist in identifying the support that you require. You can count on this Children's Services Council. And we, as I said at the very beginning, look forward to your continued conversations with our director and with the members of this council. So again, thank you so very much for the innovation that you bring, continuing innovation that you bring to our community on behalf of our children. And thank you so very much.
Thank you.
All right, members, any other comments? Seeing none, we'll continue with our consent agenda. Is there a motion for acceptance?
I move the consent agenda.
All those in favor signify by, is there a second? Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Mr. Mark O'Brien, sir, we are delighted as members of the council to welcome you back following your reappointment to this august body of children advocates. Your place is welcome here, sir.
I feel honored. I apologize for being late. We are going through a major transition. I think everyone's amazing if you're not aware. We built out a new EHR platform. It's epic. It's one that your Mayos and your Cleveland clinics, it's a tremendous tool. With a 17-month build, it's a $234 million investment. If you believe that a software program costs $234 million. But it will yield tremendous improvements in the health of our community. But we went live this week, and to go through a transition like that is a lot of work. Hundreds and hundreds of people buzzing around doing quick fixes, but it's going extremely well. We're
Asking what idiot thought of this?
no, it's a good one, but it's
Change is not easy, my friend.
Leadership.
we're having a good week. I will say that much. Much better than what anybody.
$230 million for electronic health records.
Yep.
Wow. Well, kudos to you,
But
and
it does-
again,
That's incredible
It's
thing.
not just 8, it's like 1 or 2 records too.
yeah, clearly,
Oh, yeah, we have about
but $230 million
They all
for
cost.
software.
This is the big one.
Yeah.
Now,
This is
do you
the one
know-
that allows us to really bring information to bear for those who are making decisions.
Wow. Well, congratulations, sir, and thank you for, and with
Someplace.
all with your professional,
Meetings.
your vocation, and then to make time for your avocation.
Oh, no, I will tell you, you all, you know this. I mean, listen to this, changing lives.
Yes, as are you.
Everything they have the possibility to be. Give every kid a fighting chance to be successful in life. Contributor to our community. We're working for.
Well, thank you, sir, and thank you for reapplying, and we're grateful for your reappointment. Now we'll move to committee reports. Council members of financials for January through March will be presented at the April council meeting, as the Finance and Budget Committee will not meet until March 20th. So now we'll move to our year-round OST evaluation panel, and I now defer to Director Green.
Thank you, Chair Jones. So as you're aware, we had RFP 2025-01, which was our youth development out of school time RFP. And we now have the results of that evaluation panel. What I would like to do is turn it over to our procurement manager, Holly McPhail, who will introduce the 2 co-chairs of the evaluation panel so that they can present the panel's results. Ms. McPhail.
Thank you so much. For the record, in your packet, you'll have that recommendation memo that 2 of our members will speak to. And while they come up to the table, Ms. Greenlee and Ms. Leland, I want to also just take a moment to recognize that in addition to these 2 individuals, that the panel was made up of 6 individuals, and 2 of the other panelists are also here. So I just want to recognize Ms. Tracy Markle and Mr. John Sheets, who was also in the audience. We had 2 additional members, Ms. Shantiva Leonard and Mr. Goblet Amakwa. And if you would like details about their background or any of that, we'd be happy to provide that. But with that, very, very, as our chair said at the summit last week, deliciously proud to introduce the two individuals who stepped up to the table to serve as chairs, if you will, for the committee, and that is Ms. Rashay Greenlee from the banking and finance sector, primarily with small businesses and nonprofits in Tallahassee's urban core. And Ms. Ashley Leland, who you may recognize, was one of Tallahassee's 25 Women You Need to Know the same year that myself and Herman Connor were recognized. She's a mental health professional and also is engaged with our community outreach for our Family Resource Center's implementation in the Griffin Heights and Frenchtown areas. With that, I will turn it over to our team to present the memo.
Thank you, Good afternoon, Dr. Green, Chairman Jones, and staff, and Governing Council of the Children's Services Council of Leon County. I am Rashay Greenlee, co-chair of the year-round out-of-school child evaluation panel. And as Holly wonderfully introduced me, my name is Ashley Leland, and it is our honor to present our recommendation. So after a thorough review process, our panel is pleased to put forward a set of 13 programs that we agree will provide exceptional out-of-school time opportunities for the youth of Leon County. These recommendations represent the culmination of work that began in November of last year, from reviewing detailed proposals to conducting in-person interviews to carefully analyzing the merits of each application, along with the Children's Services Council procurement manager and the guidelines outlined by the RFP presented. During this process, we were extremely selective in our approach, choosing to recommend funding only the highest scoring proposals. Out of the 19 total proposals, we are putting forth 7 year-round programs and 6 summer-only programs. This represents a strategic investment that prioritizes quality over the quantity of the programs for our Second, the recommended programs demonstrate a remarkable diversity in their service model, target population, and their geographic reach, from academic support to enrichment activities, and mentoring to youth development. These initiatives will collectively address a wide range of needs across our community. Finally, I want to emphasize our panel's steadfast commitment to upholding the highest standards, as we felt it was critical to maintain quality by selecting the programs that score over 85% in their rating. In closing, the evaluation panel is confident that these 13 programs with an investment of $2.15 million will deliver transformative experience to hundreds of children in youth in Leon County. We respectfully request the governing council approval of our recommendation so that we can begin this important work. In the words of one of the most greatest role models I know, either you are a part of the solution or you are a part of the problem. Please help us by being a part of the solution. Thank you all very much for your time and consideration.
All right. Thank you. Before you leave, are there any questions from council members? I'm sorry, Ms. Michelle.
First of all, thank you, both Ms. Greenlee and Ms. Leland. I know what it's like to go through and evaluate all those. So thank you, and I looked at your recommendations. I liked your recommendation. I do have one question, though, as it relates to, and I know this is year-round, so this is a little bit different than what we did during the summer. But in the past, one time we took on the responsibility of advertising and letting the public know about the programs. One time we asked the providers to do it. I think I got that right. And I was quickly, as I was driving over here, I thought, oh darn, I meant to find that in the RFP, and I was here by the time, so I didn't. Which way is it in this RFP? Who's responsible for letting the public know about the programs? Is it a requirement of the programs you're recommending, or is it a requirement of CSC?
So if I understand the question, I think it's a collective effort, so I think the CSC is hosting a, summer, expo. Responsibility is
I should ask the question differently, I'm sorry. In the past, it was, one, the CSC did the advertising on local radio, local television, and billboards and what have you. I may spoken in terms of what medium we use. But then one year, it was the programs who were to advertise. I was just asking, in this RFP, who is responsible for doing the advertising and raising the public awareness?
Evaluation.
To bring people to attention.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
People can sign up.
Marketing dollars, excuse me, I'm sorry, if I may answer.
Yes,
Marketing dollars were not considered, in the budget.
thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. That was fun. And yes, they would.
They can advertise within a different line, but they are not being funded to market. I think a couple years ago,
Right.
we took on that role for these programs.
And
Nice job.
part of our evaluation, we did make sure that none of them had marketing in their budget. That was a part of it.
Thank you, Ms. Green.
Any other questions? Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you again for your service as well. I just had a question if you could address for the council. When you were looking at the applicants, how did you evaluate the organizations and whether they were asking for funding that would provide additional capacity or additional seats for services versus just augmenting serving the people that they were or kids that they were already serving?
So in cases where it wasn't explicit, we asked directly and, it was reported, our session was reported. We, explicitly asked the program directors if that was it. So to follow back with, what Mr. Shea was saying, during the interviewing process, we asked a lot of questions. Not only that, we had a wonderful panel of a very diverse group of people. Like some people focused on family engagement while others focused on the budget. And we asked lots and lots of questions. And one of the main questions was to make sure that each program, was not only, what CSC was looking for, but that they were willing to serve, in the zip code of those families that we help.
Right. So is it fair to look at, for example, Boys and Girls Clubs of the Big Bend, and they've got 160 identified that they're going to serve with their funding? Is that 160 in addition to the capacity that they already serve? Is this new seats or?
So,
Yeah, that's good.
specifically, they are expanding to 2 service areas, so they are at, Renaissance Academy and also Fort Braden. So those, seats are in addition to that they are. If I may, for that particular example, it is the funding that is going to the Boys and Girls Club currently for Fort Braden is actually sunsetting on May 31st. So this would be to continue to serve Fort Braden and serve the Renaissance Academy. It is not to augment its other clubs, Sunrise, Joe Louis, and
Springfield.
Yeah, so those ones, it's not to augment. It's out of all of them,
But the question, I think, is if they run a census right now about the housing, is the funding here going to apply to the existing thousands being served, or are they actually going to expand their services by another 160? And is that what you're trying to get at?
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's the 2 examples that I would like to point you to. In most cases, the answer is yes. There's 3 exceptions, Omega Lamplighters and, Boys and Girls Club, because they're currently funded by CSC under, our youth mentoring program that is sunsetting on May 31st. And so it will those seats in essence go away, and then they will continue to be able to serve children in those neighborhoods with those two examples, and that was part of what we,
Okay.
that was intentional by design. And then the third one is for the FSU
Care,
Center for Advancement,
the CARE program.
the CARE program. It is to expand their capacity by 10 whole seats and then offer wraparound care for the 40 that they're already planning to serve. And that's the only example, those are the only 3 examples where it's not a clear-cut answer, Councilmember Johnson.
Okay. Because my understanding is that I've been approached by people that have had access to vouchers to childcare, and there's nowhere to get the childcare. So a key point here is just to make sure with the significant investment and a commitment potentially for multiple years in this space, that we're expanding capacity so that people can get the care that they need where and when they need it, and of the highest quality. So thank you.
Hello. Thank you for your willingness to serve. I'm really excited to see the both of you, whom I know as champions for children in your own respective areas of expertise in your vocation. So thank you for bringing your subject matter expertise to bear to this process. For me, my concern as we look at the number of applications that you have is, I guess for lack of a better word, is the density of impact. We're talking at about $101.7 million serving the equivalent of about 500 children, which breaks down to about $3,000 a kid. And I want to know what about the size of programs and the potential impact found in that selection of the vendors that you chose. Was that a consideration?
Yes, so we definitely asked questions such as how many new applicants in the application fee, if they were offering scholarships, how many more students, along with the students that they were already helping, how they were gonna, push and ask for let people know about their program. We just asked several.
Because for me, I noticed, we just had the conversation how districts are exempted from funding. But yet we have already existing schools that are already being funded through either vouchers or direct payments from parents, right? And then here now for what will be after-school services, my concern is what other children besides those children that are already enrolled during the day will potentially be served by the additional money that we will make available for the program. Those children, so are it intended to move the needle for children who we identify? Like, to compare, you can't, to me, unless it's different kids who may be outside of those who are enrolled, are then brought in to enjoy the experience of, say, Daryl Jones's Mud Pies and Marbles. I got my kids who are enrolled during the day, but you can come from Pine View or Fort Braden or Riley and enroll in my after-school program. But if it is intended to provide payment for children who've already collected payment for early in the day, for them to then stay with you longer, that impact is not the same.
We did ask that kind of question to some of the programs that were already existing and starting to do after school programs. I think with this group, a lot of them were serving in areas where students wouldn't normally have access to quality programs. And so, especially we was very adamant about asking almost every applicant, how are you reaching students that you wouldn't normally reach? How are you reaching South Side if you're on that side? So that was very clear in our approach when it came to asking. I think one of the problems that you kind of have when you do have applicants that are applying that might not have the quality that we're looking for. There are quite a few well-presented programs, but their financial management might not have been exhibited to give them a lower score. So in an effort to be responsible and stewards of the tax dollars that are presented here, I think our scoring kind of reflected that. There are some awesome programs that we thought would have done really well, but as far as their profile management and their financial management, it just didn't give them the score to kind of have that reach. But a lot of these programs, like Brownsville, for example, she is going to programs at different schools other than where she is actually located. So this is an expansion of her program.
So most specifically, the children who will be served in the after-school programs for which we are funded are different children than the children who are already enrolled in that school.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're specifically talking about Brownsville.
Brownsville and Bethel.
School.
And
Yes.
Bethel, because they're both schools.
Yes.
So if we, and I just want to be certain that we're not continuing the school day for children for whom monies have already been expended through either voucher, potentially, or any other means of funding, that this will be different. Because we're counting this for different.
Concern as well, especially for programs like Brownsville, because there are two other programs that she will be going up against for after-school day. So there's at Catholic Sealy, there's already 21st century in this program. So we did ask that question. So these will be new students being served in a new program that are not her students.
Which is really good because whether it's the Bethel Christian Academy or Brownsville, for children who were not enrolled during the school day to enjoy that experience is great. But I just want to make certain that as a part of the application, that different children are recruited, and this is not a continuation of the school day for those children who are already enrolled in the program.
So that was, actually one of my questions to Brownsville. And, because they, I believe, are gonna be out of Rudiger. And one of my questions was, how would you accept a child that is coming from the south side? Would you provide transportation? Are you on the bus route?
Right.
And so that was, I was a very, 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 stickler for that. Like, are you making this accessible? Are you making it helpful?
Yes.
And are you removing any barriers for any parent that, may not be able to afford, transportation, may not be able to afford the application cost? I had literally every last one of the applicants there.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Mr. Mitchell, you were next.
Mr. Chairman, I have a quick question. When you say they're gonna be out of Rudiger, what does that mean?
For the summer program.
Brownsville Academy is gonna be one of our schools?
They have made an arrangement with Rudiger Elementary to use two classrooms, to offer a summer program. That's what they presented, and they had a letter with the principal.
Hey, so mine I think are all quick questions.
Okay.
You are recommending 13, 6 and 7, 6 summer, is that?
All year.
I know, but the one is, the one that's in the summertime, that's an all-day program, right?
Yes.
Okay. And if I remember correctly, I want to say it's Omega. Part of the reason their cost is a little high, I think it's Omega, is transportation.
Sure.
Like I said, Dursey, that's it. Who Holly calls Dursey is the
Diamonds in the Rough.
the Diamonds in the Rough, thank you. They offer transportation, which is why, I'm not looking at the exact numbers, but that's why theirs was a little higher. Okay. And then one final question, and Ms. Green, I think this is maybe more directed at you as a financial services person, right? That's your background as an accountant. So we've had an experience where we have funded a program that looked great on paper, was rocking and rolling, and we paid them in 2 tranches. The second tranche of money, they didn't provide all the services, and so we needed to claw back the money. Can you tell me about the, financial integrity? And you talked a little bit about this, is kind of what perked my attention again, of the 13 applicants that you guys are recommending, in terms of, let's just say there's a mishap and we need, and we've expended $60,000, let's just say $60,000, and need to get that money back. Are you comfortable with the financial integrity of the 13 that you've recommended, that they have the financial wherewithal to pay back the CSC if they didn't provide the services that were committed to?
Of the organizations that were presented, my answer is yes.
Thank you, that's it.
Can I also follow back up with, one of your first, I think, questions about diamonds in the transportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Because that was one of the questions that we asked. And for Diamonds in the Rough, they're gonna be serving the Griffin Heights and Frenchtown. That area, a lot of those students do not have the opportunity or the luxury to be able to afford, being able to go and tour colleges. And Diamonds in the Rough is, well, they presented that they were able to, give kids that exposure.
Right.
So if you see something in the budget regarding transportation in them, that is the reason why.
That transportation was specifically for buses to travel.
All right, is there any, Ms. Cummings, Commissioner Cummings, you have any questions?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think my questions were answered as far as whether or not we have a continuity with children during the day and a continuum of after school programs. That was one of my biggest concerns. But I just want to, Mr. Chair, just commend the evaluators, and I was just so excited when I saw these scores. I think we are getting some real quality programs that's going to clearly benefit our children. So I certainly support their recommendations. Thank you.
Mr. O'Brien.
Just, I think it's worth noting for the record that these programs, from a cost perspective, seem to be well in line with what you find across the communities. The summer program's about $150 a week per individual. That's if you're out shopping for kids. In summer programs, that's extremely affordable. So these are not overpriced programs, and the year-round programs are about $80 a week per individual. So I think it's worth all of the community recognizing that the cost structures seem to be well in line with competitive market rates out there. So anyway, yes, just for the record.
I can't wait to see the results. That's really, more than anything, I can't wait to see the results. Move that needle, oh yeah.
And the good part about what you've described is that we've now got we'll have greater opportunity for some of our partners to have even greater impact across, to be able to access even more children. More children will now, who may not have had these experiences, will now have these experiences made available to them, particularly across the expanse of those target areas that we identified, what's the word we use? Footprint. That footprint that was identified in our first study that we did, where we identified areas of blight in the greatest area of need to meet the needs of our children. And as you talk about these programs, and then we look at the location of a great number of these programs, it's right there where the children are. And that's going to have enormous impact. And what I think something that we also take for granted, that as the children are learning more and learning new things, that also informs the family. We would be amazed to learn how much the excitement, infectious enthusiasm that our children bring home about learning, the ripple effect it has throughout the family. And so I'm excited about what this is going to mean in these targeted areas we've identified. So thank you so very much. And thank you for bringing your talents and expertise to bear.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move the year-round OST evaluation panels recommendations, award recommendations, of the 13 that they've recommended.
Is there a second?
Second. I'll be the second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. The second needs to be the Mark or Mr. Jones. Mark, Mr. O'Brien, or Mr. Jones. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Oh, is there public comment?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
We do have public comment. Dr. Angela Moxpool, if you'll approach the podium and state your name and your address for the record. Thank you.
Good afternoon,
3 minutes.
Chair Jones, and Director Green. I'm Angela Moss, address 1320 South Adams Street, Tallahassee, Florida. I'm with the Institute for Music Business, and I'm truly grateful for your support, for the overall support from Children's Services Council, Leon County. Your initial seed funding with the seed grant last spring helped us to launch our vision, helped us to establish our music, money, and mindset curriculum. And the summer grant helped us to expand even further. We now provide after-school programming as well as have become a state-of-the-art vocational rehabilitation provider. So with this grant, I'm hopeful that we'll be able to serve additional 20 students in middle school, focusing specifically on middle school, with year-round services providing academic support, exposure to music career pathways, mentorship, and entrepreneurship training as well. So on behalf of our team, thank you for believing in our mission.
All right, thank you. Any other comments?
That concludes public comment.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It
Aye.
passes. Any nays?
Nay.
Nay? All right. It passes 9-1? 9-1. 8-1. 8-1. All right. Next up, we have staffing requests. Council members, we have a request from the executive director for the approval of adding a 6th FTE to the, it is cold in here. Am I feeling cold? Okay.
Not as cold as our other room.
Look here, you know, now that I've slimmed, I get cold more easily. So I just throw that.
Good for you.
In the public record, I just thought I'd throw that little bit in there that I've lost 90 pounds for the last 2 years because of Orange Theory and intermittent fasting. But I digress.
Commissioner Maddox.
Yes, and my best friend, Commissioner Maddox. The executive committee voted to send this recommendation to the full council for consideration. You have the information in your packet. Again, an important part of just closing the gap on the staffing plan. We have tried other methods. Here now we have opportunity to have a full-time person. All of us are aware of what we know are employment and labor issues, challenges found in this local market. And so here now we make an intentional investment in making sure that we fortify our staff to be able to meet what we know is the continuing work and service of this Children's Services Council. Is there any discussion of any kind? Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Certainly, I'm in support of stopping some of the revolving door that we've had, that staff has had to deal with on the part-time position. I just note that I'm looking at health insurance costs on that, and I certainly know they're rising, but 63% of base salary is pretty strong. And we may not be able to solve that because it's in our package right now of what we offer, but I would just say it's worth a look.
What I would recommend is that as a part of any motion that we make, why don't we also include that we would have the finance committee to perhaps review our insurance policy. It might be time for us to put it back out. Perhaps find fit to see if there are other options as we move forward for consideration for the health insurance, the cost of health insurance, but there might be more competitive options for us to consider. That might be a part of what we consider, either in this motion or separately. But I understand where you're coming from. Any other comments? All right. Is there a motion?
I do have a comment. Can I hear from Ms. Green the justification, and I thought we approved at the beginning of this budget year, financial year, another position or part-time position. Can you tell me where this kind of fits in?
So we didn't approve another position. We had
OPS or
contract
contract services?
contracted services, and, we did hire 2 people to do administrative and operations. Our administrative hires stayed for 2 months, 2 or 3 months, and needed a position where she could get benefits. So she left and now has another job. Our operations specialist, who's actually here, Shalonda Toro, notified us she'd be leaving at the end of April. And so, if you remember, those who were with us in the beginning, we had an administrative services manager who took care of all of our admin, all of our operations, travel, everything. We have not had that, and yes, we haven't had that, and we need that.
All right, is there a motion?
You have Commissioner Cummings.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Cummings, yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No, I just wanted to ask a question from a budgetary standpoint. Is this within the ambit of what we have to approve it? I mean, we can move funds around, Madam Executive Director. I know you've looked at it, so it's feasible to do this, is basically what I'm asking.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move the recommendation to add an administrative services coordinator.
Second, is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second, yes.
Go ahead, Mark.
Just as a clarification, by hiring this position, are we stating that we are not going to have contract personnel working in the organization, or we still continue to have contracted?
Not in administrative or operations. No, we continue to have contract, for example, Ms. McPhail's position is a contract position, and,
But the
Ms. Grissom
but the contract administrative role,
goes away.
Along with the budget dollars that.
right, we're associated with.
Right, so if you remember, the executive director was given one lump sum of money where some of it was required, the law firm and the CPA. This $85,000.
But those dollars are shifting out.
Right.
And this would be basically the replacement of those dollars.
Which is what I said from the beginning about giving her a number and let her operate within that number, and we're saying that this is operating in that, within that number.
Yes,
Okay, all right.
That's why I need those, so.
all right. We have a motion and a second for approval of the hiring of this 6th FTE to the team. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Public comment.
Oh, public comment.
There's no public comment.
All right, there's no public comment. Let's go do that one more time. All those in favor? Opposed?
No.
All right, it passes 8-1. All right. Thank you. Next up, Council members, you received the updated strategic framework in your packet last month and this month. As you continue to review that, please provide any feedback to staff during the next few weeks. I'll be working with Director Green to schedule a strategic planning session for us now that we are fully appointed, and we have now closed all the gaps. So we'll be talking about that later on. So continue to review the information that has been forwarded to you. I'd like to turn it over just briefly before we prepare to make our final announcements to Ms. Green to introduce our interns who are present.
Yes, and I'm actually gonna turn it over to Ms. McPhail, because she manages them. No, you know what I'm gonna do? I'd like for staff that oversees the intern to introduce your intern. That's what I think I would like. Let's start with Christian Malone.
I'd like to introduce our intern, my intern to you. We are pleased to have her. She's doing a wonderful job. I just filled out, believe it or not, her midterm evaluation, which is hard to believe. It's midterm at FSU. She is a fourth-year student at FSU in the College of Family Services. There we go. Yeah, and, this is Lily England. Yeah, Lily England, she is a fourth-year student. She graduates in May. We're, again, as I said earlier, we are thrilled to have her helping us with our renewability for our family family strengthening programs, that have until, the rest of the year to complete, for their, 2-year, their 24 months. And, she's also gonna be working with us in all aspects of programming, within the CSC, so she can see how CSC works. And she has a very special interest in nonprofits, overall, and so she's gonna have her exposure into the nonprofits.
Thank you.
Where are you from?
I'm from Jacksonville.
Okay.
Hey, everybody, I'm Amy Grissom. My intern that I actually share with Ms. Bale is Aiden Barrett. He is SSU 4th year, data science, yes. Extremely smart. He is working with me, in the data and contract coordination of things. He's also working with Ollie and all of the SAMIS and we got to do the other stuff in a way. So, but, he's brought on a plethora of knowledge for just the data background, coding, helping us with SAMIS, getting some information that's just smooth and accurate. That's Aiden.
Aiden, where's Aiden you're from?
Oh, yeah.
Where are you from, Michigan?
Awesome.
Canada, which I learned. I did not realize how close Detroit was to Canada.
Yes,
No idea.
literally,
Just a bridge.
literally.
Great, you guys know me, I'm Holly. This is Claire. Claire Terry is, originally from Nashville. She is, also a senior at Florida State in the marketing communications, department. She brings an amazing amount of energy, willingness to learn, and is jumping in feet first, working on press releases, giving our Instagram a facelift, getting ready to engage on a fun get to know you. She's going to be starting with staff, but don't be surprised if she comes knocking on your door to get to know you as well. And you should have gotten your first email communication from Claire earlier today, in advance of our expo. So she will be running point, at the expo with our videographer, our photographer, and local media, and of course, all of our council members. So we're super excited about Claire. I'm incredibly lucky. I love them all, but I'm partial.
Yeah, so,
Nice to meet you guys.
thank you, and our team has, I think, done a very good job of shepherding these youth. We want to continue doing that. Thank you for giving me the position, because that will allow us to even, hopefully, expand even more with the internship program. Good job.
I'm excited to learn more about the expo, on that same day of the expo, and it's gonna be where?
At MUDRS.
Oh.
Yep, and we will be, our function will primarily be.
It is my alma mater, yes.
Yes.
I am a baby rapper.
You're in the RS, baby?
I was valedictorian, as a matter of fact.
And her mom was a retired professor there.
Yes.
And we're also partnering up this year, expanding the scope of the expo, so that it's not just about summer camps, it's about the after-school programs, family support programs, and then Leon County and the, city of Tallahassee with their internship programs that they offer. You might have to call that Tempo, Tifa, all of that. They'll be in the cafeteria, catering to the older youth, while we, will primarily be in the gym, right, did I get those two spaces right? For the K through 8 population.
Oh, well, thank you so very much. On that same day, March 22nd, is also, council member Mitchell's birthday, so I will be there.
National holiday.
I'll be there with cupcakes and candles. Also on
March 23rd.
Well, no, we won't want to talk about mine. But on the 22nd of March, that evening, the Foundation for Leon County Schools will have its annual karaoke, experience to raise money for our children, Foundation for Leon County Schools. Last year, our superintendent participated, did a fantastic job. I'm sure he will do it again. This year, I'm going to participate, so I intend to win.
You participated last year.
I was a
Couldn't
guest.
stand it.
I was just a guest, but this year I'm competing, and I intend to win and beat the superintendent and outraise money, and more money than he does. So y'all join us at the Moon on the 22nd of March that night. Finally, for those of you, I want you to know I was very, very proud to be a member of this Children's Services Council as we hosted the annual Children's Summit this time at the Florida State University at the Alumni Center. all of the, I was joined by a number of our council members were present. We had almost every agency that impacts children, as well as a great number of advocates were present. The conversation that we had and the presentations that we enjoyed, particularly from partners who have been impacted or funded by our work, were present there and talked about the impact. As we talk about the notion of accountability, I wish that the press that was present had captured more of it, because those funded agencies talked about the metrics. They talked about personal stories. They had video tributes that showed children and the impact that it had on both children and families. And it was just a real victory lap for us, for the programs that we have funded, and for them to be exposed. We moved from rhetoric to work, and then we saw the faces of the impact that we had, and the metrics and the data that substantiated what we know are continuing successes that will be able to be documented in annual reports moving forward. But this annual summit was an important part of continuing the conversation that occurs at the Children's Summit and the innovation that occurs there. The superintendent loves to tell the story that when the Children's Summit was started some more than 10 years ago, it was persons like he and Andrew Gillum and Mark O'Brien in the hospital healthcare, all of the anchor institutions were present and learned at that summit about the impact of early interventions from birth before they even come to our educational institutions, and the important role that we play as a community championing the success for children. So that conversation continues, and towards now to reside with us as our responsibility to manage that important conversation. I think it's a great feather in our cap, and a great responsibility for which we showed here most recently that we are well prepared to assume. So kudos to you and to everyone, and Whole Child Leon, and all of our partners who made that conversation worthwhile. So just a great victory lap. Did you like to provide any final comments regarding that?
No, we were glad to host that with Whole Child Leon. We are doing a debrief and seeing how we start for the next one. I do want to thank all the businesses that came to the business breakfast to really talk about this cradle to career, because that's really what we're trying to do, make sure our children are ready to move into that workforce. And I got 3 that I'm trying to move into the workforce.
Yes. All right. Any final comments for the good of the order as I go over our calendar?
Mr. Chair, I have 2 quick things.
Yes, sir.
On behalf of Councilmember Watson and myself, thank you for all who came, who supported, even though we changed the dates and because of the snow. But the Early Learning Coalition of the Big Bend raised about $45,000 because of this effort. So thank you for that. Right, Mr. Watson?
Yep.
And then the second thank you is I serve on the Florida Youth Foundation, which is a foundation that serves as a direct support organization at the Department of Juvenile Justice. We did a celebrity bartender. Many of you, even if you couldn't be there, you tipped me electronically or even sent your chief of staff, Commissioner Cummings. Thank you very much. And those efforts, my tip jar runneth over at $14,000, but the effort raised about $20,000, and that $20,000, just so you know, is matched dollar for dollar by the Florida Prepaid College Tuition Fund, and so that's about $40-something thousand in scholarships, college scholarships for kids who have made their way through the juvenile justice system, but have come out with good grades, strong attendance, and staying out of trouble. So I thank each and every one of you for either being there or tipping me electronically. Thank you guys very much.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible
I
contribution.
can pour a major.
But how did you do compared to your,
Oh, I killed them. I mean, there were nine bartenders, and again, I raised $14,000 to,
14 of the 20.
14 of those,
don't mess with me.
You're gonna get invited back every year.
If
you know
you
that.
want, this is 5 years running that I've won. This is a good competition. If you,
I just need to know if you like that bar better than the last bar. That's really the question.
you know, tear me apart. But it's the guy who doesn't drink. Of course, like,
All right. Yeah, oh, yeah.
So, two things. One, you probably need to follow up with that organization that claimed they were gonna be in one of our schools because they are not. And number two, that is quite the bag. I have to tell you, that is quite the bag there. But I always thought that he always said, True Blood, but it's not True Blood.
Those are maiden names.
What is True B?
True B is short for True Blood,
Okay.
and Rose is like,
Middle name.
That part I get, but he always says True Blood, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Her name ain't True Blood.
Oh, yeah, no.
But I've seen a lot of bags, Brooke Bruner, but I've never seen a bag like that.
yeah. So I had it personalized, so it says True B Rose, Rattler, Delta, Drifter, Wifey, Mommy, Fox.
I love it.
Love it. Thank you so much.
One of a kind.
Gotcha.
All right. Anything else for the good of the order? Well, as we close, I want to just share with you these upcoming meetings. Finance and Budget will meet on Thursday, March 20th, 5 p.m. Family and Youth Services Expo, again, is Saturday, March 22nd, starting at 10 a.m. at the FAMU DRS Gymnasium. The Executive Committee will meet on Thursday, April 10th at 5 p.m. Fort Brayton FRC Open House, Saturday, April 12th. Want everybody to be there at 11 a.m. at Scott House. Anybody want to ride out to God's country, you can hop in the truck with me inside. You got to ride on the back, inside. And Governing Council meeting on Thursday, April 17th, 4 p.m. Again, to all of the persons who make up the Children Services Council team, thank you for the great work that you do. Again, the Children's Summit was great. All of the meetings that you're having, both in person and virtual, the impact that we're having, the name recognition that comes with what I believe is a growing and strengthened brand, I think is incredible. So thank you for everyone involved for the great work that you all do. And if there's nothing else, we will stand adjourned. Thank you, council members, for being present.
Do not have this on my calendar.
Hey, Dina?
Thank you, Commissioner.